You are listening to Smart Women's Dating Podcast, episode number 69. Welcome to Smart Women's Dating Podcast. I am your host, certified life coach Lærke Nielsen, and I help smart, independent women attract the love they deeply desire without having to chase or settle. This podcast will give you the mindset tools and insights you need to finally crack the code to your love life. Are you ready? Then let's go! Hey friend, welcome back to the podcast. How do you feel about being rejected when dating? Imagine you've been seeing someone and you just had a couple of dates, but you start to think that there could be a potential here. But then he writes you that he isn't really feeling that special connection that he wants to feel with you. Or it could be that you are seeing someone and you're not really convinced of the potential, but you are willing to give him a chance and you feel certain that he is interested in you. It seems like that until you receive this message that kind of surprises you, where he says he doesn't feel that special connection with you. If we take a few steps back and look at dating from a distance, like a project, we could say that rejection is the norm. This is what happens the majority of the time, either from one side or the other, or from both, and either sooner or later. Rejection is actually what happens most of the time, and it's only in the rare one case when you both are a yes and you stay a yes for a long time. That's where there is a match and you stop dating because you found someone. So it's really important to get comfortable with rejection in dating. And we're both talking about receiving rejection from a man and also giving it to a man that you're dating. So today I'm going to offer you some mindset shifts and some new perspectives on rejection, both on giving rejection and receiving it. And you can actually choose to use rejection as something that can bring you new insights about yourself, strengthen the relationship you have with yourself, and give you new learnings about dating and who you want to be in dating. But before we get started with the episode, I want to share with you a new initiative that I just started, and it's a bit of an experiment, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to do this. So if this is something that interests you, I want to encourage you to take action immediately. This initiative is that I'm offering a free 30 minutes coaching call for anyone who would like to try coaching and see what is it like to get coached for 30 minutes. And the only condition is that you give me permission to record our session so that I can use either the whole session or parts of it in the podcast. And that is, of course, if I think that it can help other women to listen in on the coaching session. So if this is something you want to try, then go and book a call on the link in the show notes. And if you are listening from a platform with no show notes, then find the link on my Instagram bio at Lærke the Love Coach. And as I mentioned before, the call is totally free of charge. Alright, so let's talk about rejection. And I want to start by talking about giving rejection. So the situation where you are going to say no to a man. Now, for most of you, this is not a difficult situation if you don't like him and you have no doubt. The problem is if you like him and you feel you have a good connection on so many levels, but then you realize something about him that is actually a deal breaker. Or it could be that you like him a lot, but you still have some doubts, and at some point the doubt becomes bigger than the part of you that likes him. And of course, the reason we do not like rejecting someone is that we expect it to hurt. We don't want to hurt other people, and we feel bad about ourselves for hurting other people. And that is, of course, assuming that the rejection is going to hurt the other person, which we cannot always be sure, and we cannot be sure how much is going to hurt them. Sometimes people are actually more resilient than we think. So the moment you know that you don't want to move forward with a person, it maybe helps to think of rejection as the only decent thing to do, because you set them free so they can continue their journey, and the longer you wait, the higher risk that they're gonna feel hurt. And most men actually really appreciate when a woman can give a clear and honest rejection and let them know as early as possible, like most women also prefer from a man. So my advice to you would be to not overthink the way you deliver a rejection. Don't give him a long and complicated explanation for why you are saying no to him. And also don't tell yourself that it's kind to offer him friendship instead. Unless, of course, the vibe feels very mutually friendly and you have a feeling that this is what he wants as well. But don't do it because you want the rejection to feel less painful. It doesn't necessarily work that way. So tell him that you have enjoyed getting to know him and that he's a wonderful person, but you don't see this developing further, or you don't feel a romantic connection, or it's not what you're looking for, and so on. And then wish him all the best. And that is it. You don't need to open a longer discussion about that. If he then asks you a lot of questions about why you don't want to continue dating, and if he was too much of one or the other thing and he needs you to share more, I would just stick to the fact that it's not a good match and there's not necessarily anything wrong with him. You two are just not right for each other. So then there's the part about receiving rejection from someone. And here the challenge is to not take it personally, not make it mean that you are not lovable or attractive or interesting enough, but instead remind yourself that it wasn't a match and that's all. You are allowed to feel sad or disappointed, and you can sit with those feelings for a moment. It's not like if you've only known him for a short time, you're supposed to push this away. Just allow to feel it and notice what comes up. What are the thoughts you have about yourself and your ability to find love and so on? Use this as an opportunity to gain insight in yourself. There could be areas where you might have some healing work to do. Or there could be very stubborn and limiting beliefs that keeps coming up, and where the rejection is actually just a trigger. It's not the reason you have those thoughts. And then you also want to think about the connection you had with this person. How did it feel for you? Were there some signs that you did notice but you didn't really pay attention to, that you were not compatible? Or were there something you chose to ignore? And in what ways might it have been for the best that you are no longer dating? You also want to ask yourself what you want to take with you as a learning from this connection. And here I want you to refer back to how it felt during the connection, and especially if there were moments where things felt off and you still ignored it. But also if and when you felt good. Why did you feel good with him? What was the perception of him or your connection, what you had together, that made you feel good and that you want to look for again next time? And then I always think it's a good question to ask yourself in the end, in what ways was this experience a necessary step for you in your journey? So when we think of the experience of being rejected as these different steps, processing the feelings, getting the learnings, tuning into yourself and letting go of what you need to let go of, and then moving forward towards your goals, not quitting on yourself, but moving forward with new insights, that can actually strengthen your relationship with yourself. We don't grow and learn from constant success. I know it's what we all think we want, but this is not what develops us as human beings. It's in the failures, so to speak, that we learn. That's where we see what we're really made of and how strongly committed we are to ourselves and our dreams. And if you struggle to let go of someone, then trust that this person was not a good match for you, even if you think they were. And even if you really enjoyed every moment you had together, the answers that you're looking for or the explanation why you were not a good match is in all the things that you didn't know about this person. Because when you're dating someone, let's say 3 months, there's still a lot that you don't know. There's a lot inside his mind that you don't know anything about. And that's where you will find the reason or the reasons that it's not a good match. So when we take a bird's eye look at the dating process, it's a long chain of actions. It's a long chain of choices or decisions. You meet someone and then you choose to say yes or no on both sides. And maybe you say yes in the first place and then you say no later on. and then you meet someone new, and then again it's a yes or no decision. It's a person that is moving through a large crowd of people that they each have to say yes or no to, and where the people they meet also have to say yes or no to the person. You are filtering out one after one the people in the group, and some stay for a short time and some stay a little bit longer before they're filtered out. And everyone who is filtered out, everyone who is deselected by you or who deselects themselves, they are someone where chances of creating a healthy long-term relationship is not really that high. It's someone where you would have to work hard for it because for one or the other reason, there's not a natural compatibility and there's not a natural and mutual interest and attraction. So you are going through this group of people, and then at some point, there is going to be one person that sticks, that you are a yes to, and who is a yes to you, and where you both stay yeses over a long time. And that is your perfect match. So the point is to become really good at saying no and hearing no for a number of times. This is what you sign up for in dating, a lot of rejection, until finally there's a mutual non-rejection. There's a mutual yes. And all of this really means nothing about you. It's just two pieces in a puzzle that don't fit together. Someone saying no to you are saving your future self from pain and opening up space for new possibilities. So this is what I had for you today, and I hope this gave you some new perspectives and you found it useful. As usual, I can help you go through the dating journey in a way that feels inspiring and empowering, and where you can process and learn from dates and also from rejections. So book a call with me on the link in the show notes, and also if you want the free coaching call of 30 minutes, book a call on the link in the show notes as well. And both of these calls can also be found on the link in my Instagram bio at Lærke the Love Coach. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful week and enjoy dating. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and you want to get support from a coach on your love journey, I invite you to book a free consult call with me. You will find the link in the show notes. And also, don't forget to subscribe, and I would love it if you would rate and review this podcast, and then you'll also help other women find it.